Greetings, Summoners! Matthew from the Nintendo Treehouse here with some quick tips for the Fire Emblem Heroes game. The characters you voted for in the Choose Your Legends 2021 event are here. This year again, there is certainly something to report. 3 of these 4 popular heroes are getting special versions with new outfits, while the final member of the group is making his first appearance in the game. First, we have the original Fire Emblem Lord and Hero King himself, Marth. This time, Marth is donning the clothes based on those of his ancestor and Altea's first king, Anri. Although there are many similarities between the lives of these two, there are some important differences as well. Anri was a brave hero that relied on his own incredible strength to vanquish evil, while Marth is at his best when his cherished allies are there to support him. This version of Marth is also at his best with good ally support and relies on the speed he's known for to increase his effectiveness on the battlefield. His weapon is Genesis Falchion. As always, the Falchion is effective against dragons. However, when Marth initiates attack or is within 2 spaces of an ally, he increases all 4 of his stats by +5 and can also give himself additional special effects based on the total value of bonuses of 3 allies with the highest bonuses. If that total is 60 or more, he gets all the effects you see here. 60 may seem like a very large number. However, Marth has a path to giving his allies huge stat bonuses all on his own using his unique special, Shining Emblem. When this special triggers, it boosts its damage by 35% of his high speed, while also granting +6 to all 4 of his and his allies' stats after combat. This easily fulfills the highest requirement on his weapon. With the special acceleration effect on Genesis Falchion, this special is easy to trigger with a count of 1. Even if the special doesn't trigger, Marth can take advantage of a +6 boost to all 4 of his stats just for being near an ally, and gives allies near him a +6 boost to attack as well. His A skill, Distant Pressure, is an upgraded version of Distant Counter that allows him to counter at any distance and gives him a +5 to his speed during combat if the HP requirement is met at the cost of 5 HP after combat. This extra speed not only boosts the damage done by his special, but also helps him trigger the damage reduction effects of his B skill, Spurn. Finally, his C skill, Even Tempest, gives him extra movement on even turns. Although his defense and resistance aren't too impressive, Marth's skill set allows him to be a pretty powerful unit that can function like a tank. One strategy would be to have Marth move in and attack a foe to trigger his special. Before your turn ends, be sure that an ally is within 2 spaces, and Marth will begin countering and defeating foes before they even have a chance to attack him on the enemy phase. True to his personality, Marth fits into a variety of team types, and for Seals, I would recommend anything that helps him keep his speed high, or Mythic Boost. Next up is the Princess of Renais dressed as the Prince of Renais? It's Eirika, donning an outfit very similar to her twin brother Ephraim. It seems that she's gained a lot of experience and confidence along with her land skills courtesy of her brother's lessons. In fact, not only has she taken on his weapon of choice, she also seems to have taken on some of his habits on the battlefield. This version of Eirika is a mounted lance wielder that specializes in hit-and-run tactics. Her weapon, Binding Regenleif, is effective against armor and cavalry and has a special trigger cooldown of -1. If she meets the HP condition, she grants herself +5 to all 4 stats during combat and reduces damage from her foe's first attack by 30%. Also, if she initiates attack, she neutralizes any effect that would prevent her follow-up attack. Her A skill, Surge Sparrow, grants her a +7 to attack and speed during combat when initiating, and if she deals damage with her special, she can restore some of her HP as well. Other than her weapon, her other unique B skill, Moonlight Bangle, neutralizes penalties to her special cooldown during combat and deals extra damage to her foe based on the foe's defense if her special triggers. This skill also grants Canto 2 after she performs an action, allowing her a variety of movement options. If there is a foe within 4 spaces, her C skill, Attack Speed Menace, inflicts -6 to attack and speed to the closest foes and grants Eirika +6 to her own attack and speed. It's best if Eirika is within 4 spaces of at least 1 foe at the beginning of your turn to trigger her Menace skill. Then, move in to pick off a foe and run to safety. Although she boasts an incredible attack and speed when initiating combat with her foes, her lower defense and resistance leave her vulnerable on the enemy phase, so do be mindful of where the enemy can get to. I might suggest teaming her up with allies that can keep her safe on the enemy phase, like a certain Keeper of Gates that I'll get to soon, because of this. With her high base attack and speed combined with her access to Kanto, I would suggest attack speed solo as her seal to make it easier for her to defeat some of her tougher matchups. Next up, we have the most popular female character of the year, Marianne. Here it seems that she's won the dancing competition at Garreg Mach and is wearing a dancing outfit. Normally, she isn't the first person that would volunteer to do public dancing performances, but she's gathered her courage and is willing to give it her all. Marianne is a colorless tome user with a very unique form of dancing. What makes her special Requiem dance so unique is that her dance effect is woven into it. If Marianne initiates an attack on her foe and triggers it, the ally within 2 spaces with the highest HP will be granted another action. Although allies with Sing or Dance can also receive this benefit, the ally that receives this extra action can only move 1 space for that action. Also, be sure that only 1 ally within 2 spaces has the highest HP, as the effect will not trigger if multiple allies meet this condition. The rest of Marianne's skill set revolves around giving her a good chance to trigger this effect on your turn. Her weapon, Phantasm Tome, increases her speed by 3 and inflicts -6 to speed and resistance of her foe during combat if they have at least half of their HP at the start of combat, while also neutralizing any bonuses to those stats. If she also initiates, she reduces her foe's first attack by 70%. Her A and B skills combine with these effects to help ensure that Marianne makes a follow-up attack while limiting foes to just 1 attack per combat. Attack Speed Unity not only protects her against penalties to her attack and speed, but also increases those stats as long as she has an ally within 2 spaces. Null Follow-Up neutralizes effects that prevent her follow-up attacks while preventing effects that give her foes a follow-up. Finally, Time Pulse knocks the cooldown of Requiem Dance down at the beginning of a turn if the special count is maxed out. Marianne is best at going on the offensive during the player phase since it's the only way to trigger her special, and since she cannot use the dance support skill, she can be danced herself. This means that you can use her with another dancer to get more extra actions in a single turn if you need them. To take quicker advantage of her special, I would recommend seals like Quicken Pulse and Flashing Blade. Last and certainly not least, we have the most popular male character of the year, Gatekeeper of Garreg Mach Monastery. It looks like he's off duty from the monastery, but luckily there's a gate he can keep in Asker. And I have a little something to report. No one can say that he's bad at his job. He certainly is a wall of a man on the battlefield. The Gatekeeper is a highly defensive infantry unit that can protect and support his allies even when across the battlefield. His magic-based weapon, Charging Horn, grants an automatic +3 to his defense and +5 to the attack and speed of his allies within a large 3x3 cross centered on him during combat. Also, depending on the number of allies in that cross, he can inflict penalties to the attack and resistance of a foe in combat and can even prevent foes from making a follow-up attack if the number of allies is 3 or more. Furthermore, if he is within 2 spaces of a structure that can be destroyed, it's the same as having 3 allies in the cross, so consider him for Aether Rays as well. Similar but slightly different than Marth's A skill, the Gatekeeper is a ranged unit, and so he has an upgraded version of Close Counter called Close Reversal, which gives him extra defense when countering attacks at any distance. And if you've gotten used to him having nothing to report, you'll see that he actually has plenty of things to report when on the field of battle using his B skill, Detailed Report. This skill really limits the movement options of foes that try to sneak by him. Range 1 foes can't move through him or spaces next to him, while ranged attackers can't even move through 2 spaces away from him unless they have the pass skill. If you thought that warping past him might work, warping foes will find that they can't even warp within 4 spaces of this watchful hero. Joint Drive Defense as his C skill further increases his and his allies' defense when they keep near him. Finally, Harsh Command Plus allows him to spend an action to help an ally suffering from penalties. With the Gatekeeper, positioning is key, and he does great at protecting and supporting his allies. Even his glass cannon type allies can feel a sense of ease with him on the job. I would suggest giving him a seal to increase his functionality as a tank like Brazen Defense Resistance. This year saw a passionate competition in the Choose Your Legends event that resulted in a well-rounded group of various personalities and fighting styles. Everyone can summon one of these 4 for free, but now that you know more about them, which one will you choose? That's all I have to report today, Summoners. Good luck.